The Miami Hurricanes have certainly mastered training camp and being ready for opening day. Even though Sunday night's game against Notre Dame improbably came down to a last-second kick, which Carter Davis defied all the doubters and nailed through the uprights, the Hurricanes certainly had enough great moments in that football game to serve notice to the college football world that they're going to be a factor this college football season. Yes, there remains several things to clean up. Some of them are schematic, some are strategic. And I know that a lot of those are going to come up tonight as we embark on this new edition of CaneSport Live. But beating the number 6 team in the country on opening night is nothing to take for granted. Miami had not beaten a top 10 team since the 2017 season. The voters in this week's AP poll certainly appreciated the Canes' effort. The Canes climbed from number 12 to number 5 in this week's rankings. An incredible show of confidence, a declaration of relevance for sure. Miami is right in the thick of things coming out of the gate this year. Now it's up to the Canes to stay there. The voters chose to focus more on an impressive first half, which extended to the first drive of the third quarter, where Miami opened a 2-touchdown lead against the Irish, then to focus on a second half drought where they went 4 consecutive possessions without a first down, clearly dialed back the offense. And, we'll debate, I'm sure, whether that was smart or not smart. I personally would like to see them stop doing that. This is 2 times now in the last 3 games where they've had early leads and then essentially the offense stopped performing the same way that they had earlier in the game and let the opponent back in the game. Syracuse caught them. It blew up last season. I think it's something that they need to look at hard and make sure they don't allow to happen again so that it doesn't impact this season. But Miami gets the ball back with 3:19 to play, marches down in workmanlike fashion, was playing for a field goal, which is an interesting fact that came up when we met with Shannon Dawson on Monday. They had confidence in Carter Davis and the way that he had developed through the spring and through the fall. You'll remember in the spring, he beat out the presumed kicker for this year, Abram Murray, sent him to the transfer portal. The coaches, wisely, quite honestly, when you consider that Carter Davis had only made 4 of the 11 college football field goal attempts that he had taken to this point in his career. They brought in Bert Auburn from Texas, a guy that kicked for 2 years for the Longhorns and, struggled at the end of last year, but he was in the portal. They grabbed him to come in and compete with Carter Davis. Carter Davis beat him out too. So faced with this situation, and, we don't want to be drama queens here, but this was a season-shaping situation on Sunday night for sure. They had confidence that Carter Davis would make the kick. They played for the field goal, and voila, he nailed the kick right down the middle, and euphoria engulfed the 305, and a happy ending to just a crazy set of circumstances at Hard Rock Stadium the other night. Sports often find a way to end in nervous drama, and I know that promises to make this a very animated edition of CaneSport Live tonight. But hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, and I welcome everybody to the People's Show, CaneSport Live. As always, it is your show. It's going to be driven by your participation. If you've pre-registered with us, you're in the studio, ready to come on the show. If you're a newbie and you would like to come on the show this evening, all you have to do is email us at CaneSport@yahoo.com. I'll go ahead. I'll put that up at the bottom of the screen right now. It's CaneSport@yahoo.com. You shoot us an email. We will shoot you the link to the studio, and you can come on and be a part of tonight's show. Let's start out by bringing my partner in crime at CaneSport, Matt Shodell, into the asylum here. And, Matt, it was a wild night for sure, way wilder than it looked like it was going to be. I really felt watching that first half that Miami was 2-3 touchdowns better than Notre Dame. I really did. And, they call it the middle eight for a reason. It's a critical part of the game. They executed it perfectly. They scored on the last possession of the first half. They scored on the first possession of the third quarter. It looked like the Canes were going to sail nice and easy, but somehow sporting events between two good teams, we see it everywhere. The NFL, the NBA, hockey, it doesn't matter. You put two good teams together on a field or in an arena, there's a decent chance that by the end of the game, it's going to be a tight contest. This one found a way to be a tight contest. Took a lot of things. Took the Miami offense going into a shell. It took Notre Dame hitting an almost perfect, to that point, Corey Heatherman defense with a 62-yard pass on a coverage bust. Way too similar to the kind that we used to see last year. And then, the Irish gutted it out and found a way to tie it. But Miami very confidently and very capably goes down the field, wins the game. Carter Davis nails the kick. Matt, your thoughts on everything that we witnessed on Sunday night?
I mean, that's a lot. How much time do we have?
We have time.
The big picture continues to be what we thought it would be. I mean, it was a weird opener because usually there's a lot of things that you're wrong about, for sure. And usually there's some things that I'm wrong about, but there was so much that we were right about, which is weird. Like Malachi Toney, we've been saying it since the beginning of first week of fall. Like, this guy has to play. He's going to be a monster. He's unbelievable, right? Carson Beck, we've been saying ever since we saw him throw, like, this guy's for real. He's NFL arm talent. He's going to be just fine, despite what other people were saying on the outside, right? The wide receiver room I listed as a question mark, so I guess that was a pleasant surprise. I never said they were bad, for the record, right? I said they could be bad. They could be really good. We don't know. They're really good. Like I said that on the Good Morning Show. I said, to me, I'm convinced. Like, that is not an issue whatsoever. The receivers looked great. And we still haven't seen Josh Moore explode, which he will, believe me, okay? That receiving core is excellent. We knew the running backs would be good. We knew the offensive line was a strength. I posted the week before the game on the message boards, would I be crazy to say that Miami is going to run for more yards than Notre Dame? And people were like, yeah, you might be crazy, but not because of that, just because you're crazy. But as it turns out, they did run for more yards than Notre Dame. We were saying this Miami defense is going to be really good compared to last year. Maybe a top 30 defense, we were saying. Maybe even top 20. It sure looked like that. We were saying Corey Heatherman's system's much easier to understand. There wasn't any more miscommunications. Like, all these things that we said for 4 weeks, usually a lot of them, the big picture stuff we're talking about, a lot of them don't shine through in game one, right? And we're idiots, right? But in this case, everything was on point. Because Miami was on point, right? The things that we thought they could do, they did do. And oftentimes for the last 22 years, that hasn't happened because guess the last year, I said this on the morning show, I'm sure nobody watches it because why should you? But the last time Miami had a top 30 offense and top 30 defense was 2004, okay? Gary was 65 years old back then, so he barely remembers it. But that's how long ago it's been since Miami's been relevant. And that's scoring defense, scoring offense. Somebody said, Miami was 27th in defense last year. What are you talking about? The stat that matters is the scoring defense and the scoring offense, because that means you're dominating people when you're top 30 in both of those, okay? That's what was in 2004. So this program continues to be on the rise, right? And I said it 2 years ago, and I'll keep saying it. It was going to be a rough first 2 or 3 years. And then I predicted playoffs this year, and I certainly think they'll be in the playoffs. And then I'm saying compete for national championships next year because it's still not a perfect roster. Everyone wants to be all high and mighty. Oh my, we beat Notre Dame. We're the greatest. They were just in the national title game. Now we'll be in the national title game. Doesn't quite work like that, right? And the reason I predicted that Miami was going to beat Notre Dame, I predicted it by 11 points, right? Which it probably should have been if they didn't do some things that I disagreed with. But the reason why I
predicted a 3-point victory, by the way.
What do you want, a slow clap? A violin playing in the background? The reason why I said that is because, and I predicted, what did we do? We had predictions like a week before the game, was because it was a first-year starting quarterback on the road in a crazy environment against a guy that we knew was a great quarterback just from 2 years at Georgia. And it was that dichotomy that I said that's going to be the difference maker because Notre Dame has a really good defense. Notre Dame has a really good running game, pretty good offensive line. That was the difference in the game. And this guy, Carr, right? he probably is going to wind up being one of the lesser quarterbacks in terms of being able to pass the ball that Miami faces all year, because Miami's playing some pretty good quarterbacks. And Carr, he misfired on like 3 or 4 just almost screen passes. 5 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field, nobody in his face. He just threw them in the wrong place, to guys that were open on short. They were in short gains probably, but you don't know. But Carr certainly was not good. So to say Miami was tested by the best team on its schedule, I think is fair. But to say Miami was tested by the best quarterback on its schedule is not fair. This guy's going to wind up probably being like 7th or 8th best quarterback they faced this year. So that's going to be the true test to me. And that's why I still say, Miami could have problems with teams like Florida and Louisville. Teams that can score points are going to be a problem potentially. That's why those games are so important. Now it looks like Castellanos is a guy who can maybe help Florida State score points. Like, there are going to be some things that pop up as the season moves along that Miami will need to deal with and need to figure out and need to get right on both sides of the ball.
Florida, Louisville, Florida State, those 3 games for sure are going to be competitive games, and we'll see from there. But listen, there's some things they need to fix quick, because this has the capability to be a team that accomplishes an enormous amount, but it can't work against itself. They got to stop wasting so many timeouts for sure. There's no question about that. They're going to put themselves in a bad situation one day, and it's not going to be in the first half. It's going to be late in the game, and they're not going to have the timeouts they need to impact the result, and that's going to be a shame. But just wait. I just still see way too of a cavalier approach to blowing timeouts, and they just got to tighten up so they don't need to do that. And then the other thing is they can't keep taking the pedal off the metal with their offense. Like, I'm as confident in the offensive line as I'm sure they are, and anybody else might be. I'm as confident in the running backs, but you do have a running game, and this is the scheme. Clearly, 76% of the running plays that Miami calls are between the tackles. Okay. So they're getting into these situations where it's really hard, because when people know what's coming, they know it's coming between the tackles, and the yards are God bless Marty Brown, the way that he ran the other night. I mean, unbelievable for his first game as a Hurricane, and he was pounding it out, and the offensive line was pounding it out, whatever. But they kept getting in third down was the problem. And when you get in third down, you're in a one-play situation where if Marty Brown slips like he did on one play, I mean, partially because there was nowhere for him to go, but he slipped. He did slip. But in the other 3 situations, different factors, but they didn't get the first downs, and they had to give up the football. And I thought it was a mistake to stop being aggressive. I thought the offense in the first half was spectacular. They're going against one of the best defenses in the country. Everything wasn't going to be easy. Everything wasn't going to be perfect, but they were damn good. And they were throwing the ball, and they were running the ball and mixing it up. And Carson Beck, I thought, played phenomenal and made plays. And, of course, the CJ Daniels catch, we've been watching that for years. And guys were stepping up. I mean, you could go on and on, but I loved what I was seeing in the first half going into the start of the second half, and then it just all stopped. And it was very similar to what happened at Syracuse last year when they blew the big lead at Syracuse. The offense went flat for a way too long of a period of time, and everyone focuses on the defense as blowing last season, and that's fair. They did, but let's not forget that the offense at Syracuse disappeared for a long stretch as well. So to me, like, yeah, you just beat the number 6 team in the country, you criticize anything or point out anything that didn't go perfectly. Maybe you're being a little bit harsh. You're being a little bit of an idiot. Whatever. I don't look at it that way. Okay, this is high stakes stuff that we are going to be watching this year. This Miami Hurricane team belongs in the college football playoff this year. It belongs in Charlotte, playing probably Clemson for the ACC title. That's it, man. There's nothing lower than that is going to be considered acceptable for this season. This team is good enough to get that done. They can't get in their own way. All right, if you're not in the queue, you don't have the information already, remember, email us at canesport@yahoo.com. We're going to go out to you guys now. I'm going to do this a little differently tonight. I'm going to start with Adam. How about that? Adam.
Hey, Greg, how are you? Hey, Matt, how are you?
It's Gary. It's not Greg. Greg is the caller. I'm
Gary.
Gary.
Gary and Matt. Sorry. A couple things.
I prefer when you call him Greg, actually, but that's all right.
You look you look like a madman with that hair. So
thank you.
I guess it's only okay if you act like a madman when you come.
No, I'm not going to act like some of the callers on the Feinbaum show going off on after Alabama left. It was hilarious, by the way. But no, a couple things, and I agree with you, especially like after the Ruben Bain interception on the weird play. He runs it 3 times. It's like Mario reverts to Woody Hayes 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And it's infuriating because we could have, had we gotten the quick score or put ourselves in a position, it wouldn't have been a 10-point game. It would have been a 14-point game. And then it would have been all she wrote. Or it would have been a better chance to be all she wrote. Did he say why he went for the 3 runs after the interception? Or was it just going into a conservative shell?
Yeah, Gary, why'd he do that?
I don't know. Listen, Shannon Dawson explained a lot in his Monday press gathering that they hold for us, but why they abandoned the pass to the degree they did with the chance to put the game away, I can't really explain that. I'm sure there's a few of those calls here now that we're a couple days away that he would love to have back, but I don't know. I don't know why they did it, but they did, and it kind of
almost
killed their momentum.
Yeah. A couple other things. One, did Tony Johnson play at all in the game?
Yeah, he did. He almost got a penalty too. He was getting into it with one guy. He made the most of his rep. Let's put it that way.
No, because the new receivers look good. Like Keelan Marion looked good. I think had Christian Gray not tackled him, I think that could have been. They were saying on the broadcast that Marion probably would have caught the ball.
Yeah, I think it would have been a touchdown also.
And CJ Daniels obviously looked very good.
Tony Johnson, by the way, I didn't realize he had so few. He only had two reps in the entire game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you seen like CJ Daniels emerge as the leader of that wide receiver core?
Yeah, he's the oldest guy, and he's the most seasoned. He came in from LSU, and from day one, the coaches talk about it all the time. From day one, he did take charge of that room, and has been just a phenomenal leader to all the young kids that they have. And we talk about reps, and Tony Johnson is a more veteran guy that was brought in, but he only had 2 reps the other night, and Malachi Tony had 49. CJ Daniels had 58. So interesting the way the coaches distributed the playing time. Ray Joseph only had 8 reps. JoJo Trader, who we know has been battling the ankle, he only had 9. Pretty much they put him in there to run go routes. They weren't asking him to do a lot of cutting or anything like that. Josh Moore only had 13 reps. So it was a tight rotation, much tighter than obviously we're going to see this Saturday, with Bethune-Cookman coming in, where they're going to look to play everybody and get everybody significant reps. But that was a little bit of a surprise that, some of the guys, didn't have more reps than what they had.
Okay, a couple other things. One, on the defensive end, did they say what happened on the Torrey bust when the guy got open for like a 60-plus yard completion late in the 4th?
It looked like what happened was he released them and there was nobody back there. And somebody was supposed to be back there.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember who it was. Matt, do you remember who it was that was supposed to be back there?
There was nobody even near it, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it was a complete coverage bust.
Yeah, because I think it was Xavier Lucas, if I'm not mistaken, who actually tracked him down. And a couple of things. The defense looked night and day different from last year. Xavier Lucas looked good minus the 10-yard cushion. Have you seen the secondary really gel together in such a short time over camp with Poyer and Thomas? And
enormously. I mean, enormously. They've been unbelievable all through camp and all through the summer. And I didn't think that they had, any real letdown other than that one play last night either. I mean, you had Damari Brown, who, still battling some issues, but he shows up on game day and he's blowing up bubble screens and creating interceptions. And that was not the only bubble screen they blew up in that game. They blew up a few of them. And I thought the coverage was sensational. We saw Scott making plays. I thought Jacoby Thomas was sensational for the most part in the game. And OJ Frederic gave up one pass, but he was pretty good. I mean, the secondary is the strength of this defense this year.
And I liked what Mario did. I think it was on the last couple of plays where I think the front four was all D ends, right? Blount, Lightfoot, Messidor, and Bain. Is that something they're going to do more, like in passing situations, just put in 4 D ends as the down linemen?
I would say, yeah. I mean, you saw Moton. They went to some type of exotic defense on that play where we saw Moton come through and just didn't have the athleticism to stay with Carr at all. I mean, it made him look a little silly. I mean, it makes no sense really to have those big guys out on the field if it's a long yardage situation. They can bring in. A Blunt, for example, and they can bring in a Lightfoot and put them with Messidor and Bain, and that gives them a pretty good front four up front. And Blunt was playing predominantly tackle anyway. So,
did he play tackle in high school, or was he in?
I think he was predominantly an end. I mean,
okay.
But obviously he can play tackle and can go inside. And that's probably where he's needed right now because of how good Messidor and Bain are. If you can get him on the field with Messidor and Bain, and even Lightfoot's coming on really well as an outside rusher too, you can get all those guys on the field at the same time and move them around. What I loved was the way Corey Heatherman was moving them around. It wasn't just like Messidor's on the right side, Bain's on the left every single play. They were moving those guys around so that the offense never could get comfortable in what they're doing. And, you're assuming that they're scheming to stop Ruben Bain. Well, that's not as effective if you don't know where Ruben Bain is going to line up on a given play. And he and Messidor are lining up in different places, creating confusion and problems, to block.
True. And last point on recruiting, are we actual players for like the flip candidates, the James Johnson, the Derek Cooper, the Calvin Russell, the Justice Fitzpatrick? Even Anthony Jones, I heard, are we actual like players, or do you think some of them took the game to Notre Dame just to say, oh, I'm interested, but it's a free trip to a great game?
Miami will be an absolute player till the very end on all those kids. You lay it all out there right now in August, and all you're doing is setting a target for everybody else. The time to close is December with some of these kids. You have two different kinds of kids. You got the kid that just knows he wants to go to Miami. He commits. He's solid. There's no drama. He shows up in December on the signing list. No issues. And there's the kids that want to play the game. They figure it'll get them more money in the end. In some cases, they're absolutely right. It does. And they'll commit to somebody because they want to get more money out of the school they really want to go to. There's games like that are played. So it's usually one of the two. And if you're a good enough player, you can get away with it because they'll take you no matter what. Yeah. If you're not a good enough player, you might not want to play that game because they'll move on to somebody else.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call. Have a great rest of the show.
Yeah, thanks for getting us started tonight, Adam. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We'll see
thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Good job, Greg. Great questions, Greg.
We'll see you next week. I'm gonna have to bump you from the studio, so if you want to watch the show, just come back on the front side.
Okay.
Because we'll need the spot. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Yep.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a good fan. He really, really is. I mean,
my kind of fan, you know. Don't get dressed up. Show up as you are.
that hair.
Ask some good questions. Seem pretend you're somewhat normal, even though you're clearly not.
Before he comes on, he posts in the comments 1-0. Feels so good. So yeah, he's a rock solid fan. So Sean Wired is asking, how does Mario and the staff keep this team from not getting too full of themselves after this win? They can't afford a letdown. I think it helps that you got Florida coming up in a few weeks, and Florida is now in the top 20 and doing very, very well. Way too early in the season, I think, to be worrying about a letdown or feeling too good about themselves. This week they play Bethune-Cookman. I mean, it doesn't really matter, quite honestly. It really doesn't. What's going to be interesting to see is how big of a fight South Florida can give them. I hope that South Florida can give them a little bit of a fight. I think that would be a good sharpener going into the Florida game. We'll see what happens there. But I don't see this as an issue, Matt. Do you at this point of the equation?
No, I mean, the reporters are always asking this, right? I mean, Mario was asking in the press conference, how do you keep the team focused against Bethune-Cookman? It doesn't freaking matter if they're focused or not. The score is going to be 90-0. They just lost to FAU 48-9. This is a game, and I was actually talking to a booster about this. They shouldn't even play Carson Beck. Like, God forbid some person on Bethune decides to do a late hit on Carson Beck's knees. Like, it's not worth it. This game is already over. I don't know why they schedule it, whatever. I don't care. But I would just start all second teamers. This team doesn't have
give Emery a half, Judd a quarter, and Luke a quarter.
This team doesn't have the depth where it can afford to have a single starter hurt. I mean, you saw how good the starters looked against Notre Dame, right? Do you want to lose any of them to Bethune? Even if you play one quarter, you don't know. There are non-contact injuries. There are guys at Bethune that this is their Super Bowl, and they are going to do anything, bite, claw, whatever, rabid animals do. Like, they will do whatever it takes to try and not look terrible against the top program they play all year. I start all second teamers, and I let them play the whole game with third teamers mixed in as well. Yeah, and I play each quarterback, each of the backup quarterbacks, I play for a quarter, and then the final quarter is hand the ball off.
Yeah, they'll want them out there for a quarter to a half, but
I would not even do that. I'm telling you. Can you imagine if Mario plays Carson Beck for a quarter and he gets hurt and misses the Florida game or something? He will be destroyed by Miami fans. Like, it's just not worth it. Maybe one series just hand the ball off if you have to start him, but I am not having him drop back once in that game. There's no need.
No argument from me on that. All right, Papa Flex. He says, please don't open up with Everything 305. I'm tired of his negativity. You'll remember Everything 305. He predicts a Notre Dame victory on this show last week and got under everybody's skin a little bit. So, no, we didn't open up with Everything 305, Papa, but we're going to bring him on now because he's got some crow that he has to eat. And Matt Shodell spent the whole afternoon cooking it up in his kitchen. Everything. I know you're audio only, so nobody can see you. But what hath you thou to say now after that Miami performance on Sunday?
I was beyond impressed with our trenches. Bottom line, that's what it came down to.
Okay. Protection
was amazing. Notre Dame's got nothing but NFL draft picks on that other side of the ball. Just about every guy that was in the two deep is going to get drafted or make a roster somehow, some way. That team's got some talent. They withstood a couple of blitz packages. They did such a great job in their zone too. They're a pretty good zone team. They mix coverages pretty well, but overall, that's a great defense. And for us to not to totally dominate the line of scrimmage, but to control it for most of the game and put us in position to score. I felt there was only like one series that I was a little upset with in the first half. That was after the fumble recovery. I was looking for a little bit more in that series, but besides that, I thought they played really well. So the trenches for me was outstanding. I'm still a little bit concerned about the depth at D tackle. You talked about Armando having to play almost exclusively at D tackle. I think he only got like 3 or 4 snaps at end. One of those young bucks is going to have to emerge here pretty soon. But David Blade did a really good job of not only just holding his own but being disruptive.
Yeah.
Did pretty well in a couple doubles that he was able to break through. Ruben is just Ruben. He looks a lot more explosive, I think, this year than he did last year.
I agree.
Whether it's attributed to the weight or whatever that he gained, I just felt like it was like the kid I saw his freshman year. That's what I saw on Sunday night. So the defense, to me, the trenches itself is where the game is always going to be won, in my opinion. In terms of Carson Beck, got lucky on a play, threw it off balance, and this kid made an incredible catch. But he also got lucky on a skinny post, which should have been intercepted, threw it behind the guy. But overall, he played pretty well. And then we kind of shut him down a little bit in second half by choice. But for the most part, I'm beyond impressed. But the one facet of our program that I was really caught off guard with was, and I think Matt had mentioned this way back on a Good Morning CaneSport, maybe back in the summer, was that it wasn't a given that the kid from Texas was going to be the kicker. But it was truly a competition. I kind of didn't
competition.
I didn't buy into that, to be honest with you. I'm like, yeah, the kid from Texas is going to be the kicker, and lo and behold, that's not the way it worked out. But I felt he not only did he kick the ball really well, but he was relaxed, didn't seem stressed at all, just going out there doing his job. So that's got to be a major compliment for the special teams coaching. The coverage is a lot better on specials as well. Got to the ball a lot quicker. So overall, that component of our game, of the three phases of our game, it was a lot better than I thought it would be.
When you improve the middle of your roster the way that they have, your special teams are going to get better because you have better talent now that are on those special teams. And yeah, it showed. I agree with you. It absolutely showed.
I mean, right now going forward, I still have concerns? Absolutely. On offense, you really have, and I know Matt mentioned earlier that we've got a fabulous wide receiver room. I'm still not buying into that because there was one thing that I thought we lacked. Other than one kid, there was only one kid that got separation. I know we're not going to face an outstanding secondary every week like we faced the other night. I get that. But the fact that there wasn't another guy that was able to go, unless it was a mesh pattern or something like that where you're coming across and they're switching up or they're in zone, there wasn't a guy one-on-one on a perimeter that really was able to beat a guy. JoJo went ahead and had a good go of it, and then the kid, I think the kid from Notre Dame fell down, messed up his shoulder a little bit, whatever. But other than that, on that go, I didn't see much of that, and you're still going to need that. So that's still a concern for me, is there isn't a guy that truly separates. The young kid from West Broward High School, I was very impressed with him, but he's still young. It's going to take him a while. So if your best playmaker is a 17-year-old, that's still a concern. You've got to have another guy that puts pressure on the defense and can take the top off of a defense. And right now, I don't think that guy has come out yet. I don't know if that guy has made his presence. Hopefully, through competition, it'll get there eventually. But right now, I'm still concerned with that. In terms of the kid from LSU who was at Liberty before, C.J. Daniels, I think the best thing that I've heard the last 2 days or last 3 days was how he's in charge of that wide receiver room and the leadership he's pretty much put on those guys, and how he's impacted the 17-year-old kid who's acting like a professional, according to Mario, according to Coach Dawson, and you've heard it from other people in the community forever. But very impressed to see that kid. But you need somebody else to step up, and that's still a concern. Our linebackers, Toure, I think, does a really good job against the run, but in pass coverage, he's always a step and a half slow. He gets exposed pretty easy. The kid that impressed me the most was Popo.
Great.
He played phenomenal. He played within the system, and then right behind him, I know his snaps weren't the same, but Chase played very well, and Wesley did his typical Wesley, very steady Eddie kind of guy who's not going to make a mistake to get you beat.
He's become very, very steady.
Very steady, and I know Damari's been with that toe. And Gary, I know it's going to be something he's going to have to deal with for the rest of the season. He was in North Carolina a couple of weeks ago trying to see that specialist up there. But, man, it's not just how big he is, how strong he is, how impactful he is. It's how smart the kid is.
Yes.
I mean, he's really the complete package. So I'm hoping he stays healthy. But yeah, we still have some concerns. But for the most part, is it a top 5 team right now? Kind of make an argument against that.
So they've earned your support. They've earned your belief.
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Absolutely.
I'm sure everybody's very happy to hear that.
Absolutely. Now, do we know that Notre Dame's going to, win the next 11 games? I don't know. Do we know that, we're going to have Florida State go ahead and not put points against us? I don't know. Castellanos goes ahead.
No, like you're going to have 5 or 6 like tight games. Like
you're going to have major questions.
When has there ever been a season, even when Miami was the greatest team in the history of college football, that there weren't several games over the course of the season that were tight ball? Like there's going to be tight games this year, and 1 or 2 of them are going to probably be against teams that you don't think are going to be that competitive, and they're going to find a game plan and a way to give you problems. I mean, it happens every season.
I think Matt mentioned earlier Louisville, and that's the team that concerns me the most.
Louisville, Florida State, SMU. You got to go to Pittsburgh in the cold weather last game of the year. They could maybe, I haven't seen Pittsburgh yet this year, but just on face value, that's a team that can sometimes give you problems. I mean, there's going to be several of them.
Gary, what type of impact are we truly looking at here potentially with these 150 recruits that were there, especially the 5-star local kids?
Huge. I mean, huge impact. I'm sure you saw on the website, we had a pretty good roundup talking to all of them. They all were very positive. I mean, it's got to have a good impact. It was a great environment. Miami played great against Notre Dame. I mean, we couldn't have gone any better, really. I mean, I know the second half wasn't picture perfect like you'd want it to be, but they certainly couldn't have left not entertained and not feeling good about what they had seen. All right, everything. I got to let you run.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Good to hear that you've come full circle on us, and we'll look forward to hearing your positivity as the season goes forward here.
Well, I can positively guarantee you that Carson Beck will start on Saturday. Okay.
I know. I wish he wouldn't, though, but I'm sure he will.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, everything. Yep. Thanks for being on the show. Well, he took his medicine pretty good there, Matt. I mean, he owned up. Ian Killian, he's dying to hear from Greg.
Oh no.
So we might as well go to Greg next and see what he thought of the game. Greg, welcome back to CaneSport Live.
How you doing? Is everything in the witness protection plan or something? Well, why can't he come on the screen?
You're not on the screen. How about you're not on the screen?
I don't see a camera hooked up to your feed.
Oh my
yeah,
Lord.
well, I've been on there before. Let's get to.
Why are you coming on now? You have a camera on your computer.
No. That's not
I'm not on the computer. I'm on my phone.
Perfect.
Okay. I want to question something Matt said, of course. You claim that this is the year to, next year is the year to win a national championship.
Well, to have a national championship roster. To have a national championship level roster. Yeah.
Okay. Do you realize we play at South Carolina, at Clemson,
of course,
and at Notre Dame? Okay. Yeah. That's a 10 times toughest schedule in the year.
That actually is that's a benefit, Greg. You know why? Because if you lose 3 games in the expanded playoffs, you're still in the playoffs with that schedule. This year, with 3 losses, they're not. So I'm good with that. I got no problem with that. Once you're in the playoffs,
finish my point.
Oh,
next year we're going to lose Beck, Daniels, the whole offensive line, Bain and Mesidor, Blay, Moten, Torrey, Basaint, Scott, and Thomas. How are we replacing 14 players? We go into the portal again for 14 more players?
Do you realize that he's talking to me, Gary? You want to answer?
Answer him.
8 or 10 of those guys you just named were just brought in for 1 year. The whole reason why I predicted next year's a championship level roster, Greg, isn't based on the losses from this year. It's based on my belief that Mario is actually recruiting behind these transfer portal numbers, right? 22, 23 this year, 16 last year, whatever it's been. It's been crazy numbers in the portal. my firm belief is he's recruiting talent behind those, which is why you see these top classes. And my firm belief is he's developing the talent. And that's why my firm belief is in year 5, if that talent's not good enough to compete for a national title, then I'm going to retire from this job anyway, because I'm going to be sick of covering this freaking program for the last 25 years. So it doesn't matter whether I'm wrong, because I won't be doing it anymore. So yeah, he better freaking be competing for a national title with all the work he's put into these recruits and landing this talent and the coaches he's brought in to coach them up. Because if by year 5 you're bringing in 11 starters from the portal again as 1 year free agents because your roster's not ready yet to play, then I'm just done. Like, I'm not living. I don't like college football where your entire roster is FSU every year, and it's like you don't know who the hell you're rooting for except for some guy who's playing as a mercenary, doesn't even love your program, and just wants NFL money.
Wake up, Matt. Wake up. This is a new deal, a new game. Let's review here for a second, Greg.
You can't survive in the portal every year. You can't ask FSU. They could be great 1 year and terrible the next. It's a perfect example.
I'll say you can't survive if you don't do it. And here, let me support my case, okay? This is the haul from the second portal window this year, okay? This is after spring practice. This is after they decide what they need.
You're not even understanding the point. It's not year. It's year to year. This year and last year, they got good portal guys. It doesn't happen every year. You can't do it every single year successfully. That's the point.
Do it every year, but
you're not even answering the right question.
You're going to have to do it every year, and here's why. This is who they got, the second portal widow. Marty Brown. How would you have liked to play that game on Sunday night without Marty Brown? I mean, my God, Lyle tweaks his ankle. Fletcher, you don't want to overwork Fletcher. If you overwork,
are you going to talk for 20 minutes about 14 guys they brought in, 20 guys they brought in?
Excuse me. If you overwork Fletcher, there's a decent chance that he could get hurt. You can't.
You're not even answering the question.
You got to have Marty Brown.
I agree. I agree.
Me, Tony Johnson. Okay, fine. You could live without Tony Johnson. Keelan Marion made a huge contribution.
Do you not understand that I agree with you? They had to bring in. They started with a roster that was so bad they had no choice.
Excuse me.
You're not even listening. You don't even understand the question.
Excuse me. Right. Would you have liked to play Sunday night without Keontae Scott? Oh, genius. Matt doesn't like the transfer portal. He doesn't think you should be picking up players in the second portal. So let's just ignore the fact that Keontae Scott is in there. How about Jacoby Thomas? How good was Jacoby Thomas on Sunday night? I'll agree you could have done without Bert Auburn. How about Toure? You really would want to go play this year without Toure as part of that linebacker core? I don't think so. These decisions will be predicated by who is in the portal. The portal's not going anywhere. It's going to be a big part of the personnel process into the future, okay? And it doesn't matter whether you like it or hate it or whatever. It's going to be part of the equation. And yes, they have a lot of guys that they're going to have to replace going into next season. It is going to take traditional recruiting with a lot of freshmen that aren't going to be good enough to play, most likely. Malachi Toney is an aberration, okay? That's not happening on a regular basis where a true freshman walks in and is that good and ready to play. And he's a receiver, so it's easier to do at that position. The portal is going to remain a big part of the deal. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. Now, can you explain to me how you could get a delay a game coming out of halftime? How is that possible?
It's bad.
They get to delay a game.
Is it opening day?
They had a half hour to discuss what the hell they're doing. Come on. And by the way, it wouldn't hurt anybody's feelings if maybe on 3rd and 2, we fake the run and maybe pop one out to one of the tight ends once in a while. What the hell? You're going to lose this kid.
3 play actions the whole game. That was it. 3 or 4 play action passes the whole damn game. It's unbelievable. Right. I agree, Greg.
You're going to lose Elijah Lofton if you keep not playing, not throwing the ball to the kid. The guy's one of your best weapons, and he got they threw it to him one time all freaking night. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know if this had anything to do with that, but he had a play earlier in the game where he was totally half-assing a block. And I know if I were the coaches, I would have been pissed. I wouldn't have thrown the ball to him last night either. I mean, the play got blown up for a 3-yard loss. It was in the first quarter, I believe. And it was all because he didn't go block his guy with any type of effort level at all. And I love my Elijah Lofton, okay? I think he is an elite football player. I think he's going to make a ton of plays this year and into the future. I agree with you. They need to use him more. He is an absolute weapon. But on this particular play early in the game, he didn't do his job. And like if I were a coach, I wouldn't throw him the ball either. It was that bad.
Okay. Now, my last point. On the last drive, if Maui Noah didn't push the pile, they would have been stopped and they would have had a punt and they would have lost the game. And Mario would have been roasted like he's never been roasted before. Okay? I mean, the offensive line is good, but they weren't dominating the game. We averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yeah,
that's not great running.
That's a big boy team, man. Notre Dame is not.
I understand that, but why would, like Matt said, then don't throw it to Lofton, throw it to Bauman, do something different.
They were doing a great job in the first half mixing it up, and they had Notre Dame off balance, and
right.
I don't know why they changed. I don't have an explanation. And I'm sure they're wishing they hadn't, because they almost blew the game because they changed.
Are you ever going to get a top 190-pound running back with that running scheme, run up between the tackles every play?
All right. Wait. Now I got to stop you, because I did a lot of research on this. Okay, that running scheme, was the second best running scheme in the country last year, and they run between the tackles 76% of the time. Okay, the only team in the country that runs between the tackles more often than Miami is Baylor. Okay, they averaged 5.7 yards a carry last year, running between the tackles, and like I said, it was number 2 in the country. And like, I get it, like, and it's a big pet peeve of the fan base and everybody. We hear this, we've heard this for 3 years now. And it's a constant topic of conversation. Why aren't we seeing more toss sweeps? Why aren't more running plays going to the outside? The answer is obvious. The scheme is predicated on running between the tackles. 76% of the running plays are going to be between the tackles. That is the scheme. Whether you like it, don't like it, it's the scheme that was developed at Alabama when Mario was the offensive line coach there. He took it to Oregon. He brought it to Miami. He and Mirabal have become experts in this scheme, and that is the running scheme that you are going to see Miami have as long as Mario Cristobal is the head coach. Okay, Dawson has been a convert into this scheme, and to his credit, he has evolved. He is not an air raid offensive coordinator anymore. Okay, he has learned the benefits of the running game and how to integrate it with his air raid passing concepts. Was he overbaking it in the second half last night, whether it was him or rather Sunday night, whether it was him or whether it was being dictated by Mario? Yeah, they probably overbaked it a little bit, but that's their running scheme. Okay. And that's not changing. And they have been extremely effective with it. Like I said, there was only one team in the country that was better running the football last year than Miami.
But how about some variation? Do something different. Throw a pass like we discussed already. The only guy who can stop.
Like what they're doing is effective. So
it wasn't that effective in the second half. It was terrible. We didn't get a first down for 4 series in a row. Why wouldn't you change something?
Well, I don't disagree with you, but they weren't executing on third down. But if they're running the ball, most likely it's going to be between the tackles.
Okay, there's only one person on this earth that can stop Miami from going to the playoffs, and his name is Mario Cristobal. With his stubbornness, okay? He's a great recruiter, great guy. His game day coaching leaves a lot to be desired. Have a great week.
All right, Greg. They got to clean up the timeouts. They take way too many timeouts that they end up not having at the end of halves and the end of the game. They got to clean that up for sure. They got to stop taking the pedal off the metal on offense when they get a lead. Okay. Beyond that, the team looked pretty damn good against one of the best teams in the country. And I think when this thing's all said and done, Notre Dame will be a playoff team. I really do. And I think that's a really good team. I think their quarterback's going to get better. It was a great opening night test. They were ready for that test, Greg. And, I mean, we'll see what happens. And I get it, man. Everyone loves to beat up on Mario. Somebody was doing it on social media today and created some stupid post that went viral. Last time I checked, it had 850,000 views in a few hours this afternoon. Somebody trying to clown Mario and say that that he was confused about something, whatever. I mean, everybody loves to beat up on Mario. There are things they need to clean up. Absolutely. That football team that showed up at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday night was pretty damn good. He's put the whole damn thing together. Okay. So, I don't know, man. He's given this fan base a pretty good product, way better than what we had prior to his arrival. That's all that's all I'll say. All right, Greg. Hey, thank you so much for being part of the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry to be so hard on him, but it's man, why does everybody loves to beat up on Mario? Like, why is Mario everybody's punching bag? I don't get it. Like he's given this school a pretty damn good football program.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to bash Mario or praise Mario. I'll just watch what he does. But the reason is obvious why fans have the questions, because of the past track record from Oregon to Miami. He's had some moments that weren't so great for a head coach, time clock management wise. That's why this stuff comes up. If it was some other coach, nobody would even dare to post that on social media. It would look ridiculous, right? But with Mario, they want to use the history of it. And by the way, I'm just going to quickly, if you don't interrupt me, I'll quickly explain what I was trying to say, because you didn't really, you sort of misrepresented what I was trying to say. To me, just so you understand my philosophy in building a program long-term, not this year, not last year specifically, obviously you take Cam Ward, obviously you take Carson Beck, you take Jacoby, you take all these guys, you need them. My point is, you have to get to a point where you don't need them, because if you're the FSUs of the world, you can win every game in the regular season and then go to a 2-win season because you got the wrong 20 transfers that year, and then go back to this year and you got the right 20 transfers, you're good again. And then next year you got the wrong 20 transfers. When you build a program through recruiting, it's so much easier to already know what you have. And you have that base, a big base. And okay, we need these 5 free agents, these 5 top guys, because this big base, that's all we're missing. Not, we need 11 new starters every year. Because that's what they did this year. They needed 11 new starters, and they got them in the portal. I'd like to be at the point where they only need 4 or 5. And they know what they have. Not, I hope this guy blends in with our, they have a month to recruit guys, 2 weeks to recruit guys out of the portal, right? Not, I hope he works, well with the other guys, because all he wants to do is go to the NFL, and he's not going to be a team player, but maybe he will be. Maybe he'll buy into our culture. He was raised in 2 different cultures at 2 different programs. You bring him in as freshmen, you teach them the culture, they work hard, they get along with their teammates, they build that bond, and that's how you build a program. And then you fill in the top with the little sprinkles. The free agents. That's my vision for the long-term success of a program like this Miami team should be eventually, with Mario being such a great recruiter. Now, if Mario sucked as a recruiter, I wouldn't be saying this, but his strength is recruiting and development. That is his strength. If he stops playing to it and does what everyone else does and just throws money at some transfers, some years it's not going to be so great. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but what if the guy that pops into the portal is just simply better than what you have? Like Dylan Day, I'll use him as an example. Dylan Day,
there's always going to be guys that could be better than what you have.
Well, Dylan Day was
at every position, but you don't have unlimited money, so you have to spend even more money.
Unlimited money.
Here's my point. If you have a guy who's a little better than the guy you have, Mario's taking him. I want to get to the point where there's 4 holes they have in the roster, and they can outbid every team to get the best guy, that first-round NFL guy at all 4 of those positions. All that money he gave 23 free agents, or 23 transfers this year, right? Only a few of them free agents. All that money for 23 guys, it's now going to 4 or 5 guys. And you're getting the best 4 or 5 guys, right? They tried to get 3 slot guys who they didn't need, as it turns out, but they couldn't outbid anyone for any of them. They tried to get 2 defensive tackles. They couldn't outbid the other teams for those 2 guys. They will be able to do that once they have the core of these rookie contracts of high school guys that aren't as expensive, right? And you bring them along, they develop, and they're great. And they move on to the NFL, and you replace them with other guys that have been in your roster, and you, again, sprinkle in the free agents. You can't live with 11 new transfer starters every year. Like, that money, the amount of money for that is absurd.
Nino Francavilla is a decent center prospect. So is SJ Aftatuli. Very good center prospects. But for this year, Brockmeyer's better. You got to take him. Okay, Dylan Day, I was trying to use that.
But next year, SJ should be ready.
No, it'll be the same next year.
So anybody who's a little better, you're going to take him in the portal. So let me ask you a question. Anyone who's a little better than what you have, you're grabbing in the portal. You don't care.
You have to.
Okay, so now your recruits leave. Your recruits don't come because now the reputation is You're going to be ready to play. They're just going to replace you with a portal guy. And now you lose in recruiting. You're not understanding the mentality of recruits.
No.
You can shake your head all you want. It's just the truth.
These kids are making, six figures the day they walk in the door.
Guys are not coming to Miami to sit on the bench behind. Guys are not coming here to sit behind transfers. I'm sorry. If they're marginally better than the guy there, that's the guy you recruited and you developed. You got to trust those guys.
The kids to get good enough. Okay, Dylan Day has progressed well since they recruited him traditionally, but is he as good as Jacoby Thomas? Absolutely not. Okay, is he as good as?
You keep going back to this year. I'm saying
no.
Why do you keep going with this year?
But Dylan Day is the number 3 safety.
This year, you keep going to the wrong section.
Just for the point of it, should I be playing?
If it's Dylan Day versus Jacoby Thomas, of course you have to do it. My point is Dylan Day isn't ready.
Yes. Okay.
My point is Dylan Day is not ready. Of course you need a transfer. I'm talking about long-term how to build the program. Again, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Long-term to build the program. 10 years on the road, not this year. For the next 10 years. His system has to be
third year, long term, whatever. He's never going to be good enough to be out there.
Okay,
that's obvious.
I try to explain it. What you don't want to hear it.
Oh, geez, I got to beat my head agaast the wall.
You're not listening to what I'm trying to tell you. This time.
With Ray, rather than try to get somebody better, like you can't. Like I'm not singling out Ray. I'm just saying. Like,
you keep talking about this year's roster for some reason. It's not about this year. I don't understand why you keep talking about this year.
You have to put, and it's not going to change. As much as you want it to, it's not going to change. You have to put the best team on the field that you can.
So then why are they even recruiting players in high school, Gary? Why? What's the point? As backups?
Because Mao and
Noah. Want to be backups?
Because Mao and Noah is good enough, and as Cooper is good enough.
I'm sure you can find people better than Sampson in the portal. You can find. There's always going to be somebody better in the portal than what you have.
Okinola is good enough. Markel Bell, who you brought in, I know out of junior college, he's good enough.
He's good enough compared to who? You can get the top player in the country at every position if you have enough money. So just do that.
But my point is, you're going to have kids you recruit out of high school that are good enough. Everybody's not going to be.
That's my point. You just said it. Thank you. You finally said the truth. You're going to have guys you recruit out of high school that are good enough. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're doing. That's my point. They don't need to keep taking portal guys when they do that. That's the key. You literally just proved my point.
Jake is getting drunk right now, drinking wine, like waiting for his turn to talk. So I'm going to go to him in a minute. But I'm going to say this, okay? A good recruiting class, okay? And you do the hits and misses every summer. A good recruiting class, you're only going to hit on about 50-60% of the guys that you recruit traditionally, okay?
And the portal's the same way, but portal's the same way, by the way, if you look at the numbers.
I agree. But of those guys, they're not all going to be starters. So you're going to be in a situation every single year where you're watching every single player that goes in the portal. And if that guy is good enough and that guy is better than what you have on your roster, and you can go out and recruit him or outbid everybody else for him or whatever you got to do to get that guy, to get Jacoby Thomas, to get Marty Brown. Marty Brown's going to be in this program, I think for 3 years? I mean, what a pickup that was. Oh, geez, I didn't recruit him traditionally? No, man. You got to go get the best talent that you can get when you can get it and let them compete. And if the traditional recruit can beat out the guy you got in the portal, all the power to him.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather have Marty Brown, because he's taking up a roster spot at running back for 3 years. He'll be here for 3 years. He's going to keep a guy from coming to Miami at that as a recruit. Would you rather have, let's say, not that Mark Fletcher will be here next year, but if you have a good running back room, would you rather have Marty Brown come in as a sophomore, right?
Marty Brown or Derek Cooper, or a recruit, for example.
Correct. Would you rather the next Marty Brown come in next year and the year after, or would you rather have a 5-star running back that's ready in a couple of years?
I want them both, and I want him to compete when he gets here.
Okay, so you're saying unlimited money, take all the free agents, take all the recruits for him. If you have unlimited money, of course that's the formula. I didn't know they had unlimited money. I didn't realize you were donating my salary to the University of Miami.
They have what they need, okay? If Derek Cooper comes here, he's going to take 7 figures to land, okay? Of course you're going to go get him, but you're not going to just give him the job. He's going to have to compete with Marty Brown. If he's better than Marty Brown, he'll be out there right away. If not, Marty Brown's going to be playing. Marty Brown earned that the other night. He showed he is worthy of being a Miami Hurricane, in my opinion. All right, Jake, let's bring you on, man. Your eyes are a little glazed. I got to admit, but
I'm still recovering from that weekend. Oh boy, that was I'm going to piggyback on what you guys are talking about. I think there's a balance in the middle of that. I'd like to see about a 10 to 12 coming in the portal. Not this 20. I think quarterback, like if Dawson can keep rehabilitating guys and improving their draft stock, I'd almost say stop recruiting high school quarterbacks. Go get yourself a portal guy. Not
You
entirely,
need five.
but
You need 5 on the roster, 4 or 5. You need 4, really 4. You need 4 on the roster.
did you see the meme about it wasn't this last one, but it was 2 classes ago or so, maybe 3, but like Nico Iamo, whatever his last name is, the top 5 quarterbacks, there was how many millions of dollars spent on their NIL, and these guys are all busts. Nothing there. So quarterback, I'm kind of fine going and getting that free agent and spending the big money. To Matt's point, I don't know. I mean, there's a balance in the middle where Marty Brown, I mean, yeah, you're going to have him for several years. That's a kid you can build upon, and he's probably got a chip on his shoulder, so he doesn't mind to compete. I also think, so I want to talk about Mario in a minute, but the culture he does seem to be having, and these guys aren't shying away from competing, and that's one of the things I love. His game day does leave a lot to be desired, but he has built a culture here. I talked last week about how, these guys are getting paid big bucks. They're in a big city where you can get into a lot of trouble. And he's kept them pretty trouble-free, all in all, compared to how it used to be. I mean, that's impressive what he's done. These guys are willing to compete. Even like Ray Joseph, I think everybody, myself included, thought he was gone in the portal. He's like, no, I'm going to keep plugging and competing, and I'll find a way onto the field. I don't know if he will.
He got, I think, 5 reps last night.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully he keeps getting better.
Reps.
I mean, that's how
he
you
is
build.
Getting better. But is he as good as Malachi Tony? No, not even close.
That kid, that's amazing. He's 17. Jesus Christ. How does that happen? That is insanity. Good, that kid is so good. Oh my God, I can't wait till he's like 19 or 20. Holy shit, is that kid going to be spectacular? I think so. So I saw a lot of things about the game day atmosphere. I was there. It was pretty rowdy, but I don't think that was anywhere close to 2017. But I think there's 2 things. The rain, I think, impacted that game a lot. It started raining about 2 in the afternoon. We were hanging out at the pool over at the Hard Rock Casino with some friends, and it started raining about 2:30ish, and it didn't stop until like 10 o'clock. I'm sure that messed with the game plan. That messed with the tailgates. Yeah, the tailgates. Well, and I think the other thing too, this is a Sunday night game early in the season on a holiday weekend. From my observations of the crowd, I feel like everyone was a little, myself included, we have been going hard all weekend. I think that crowd was a little worn out, and they got into it when they needed it, but you couldn't sustain it like it was in 17. It was just like they showed up when need be, but nobody had the juice. I'm as guilty as any to like keep it rowdy the whole game. That was just, but it was a hell of an atmosphere. That was still a lot of fun. As it pertains to Mario, I think a lot of the, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, but I was just looking while you guys were talking with some of the other people too. Mario Cristobal in his last 5 years is 14-2 in September. He is lights out in the opening month of the season. In November, oh boy, does it get shitty. He is, I believe it was 10-18 since 2020. That's horrendous. That is awful. And I think that's what's got everyone a little riled up is like, I think we're going to come out guns blazing. I think we're going to beat Florida. I was happy. I spent the whole day, Matt, I was in your camp. I was trying to get action on Miami -10. I was checking the sports book at Hard Rock. I was checking every app I could. I wanted to get some -10 action on that game. Hard Rock, all they would give me was -2.5, and boy, did that work out perfectly.
Yeah, there
I
you
was
go.
quite happy about it. But yeah, he has his team ready to begin the season. Nobody works harder than he is, but he is not smart enough, and he's too goddamn stubborn, and he doesn't change things up, and people figure him out as the year goes on, and he sucks in the last month of the season. And I think that's what everyone's worried about, is like, this team has got the talent. Can he turn the corner? Can he get us to that next level, that top 5, that really competing for a national championship? We won, and that's a great thing. I'm thrilled about it. But that game did leave a lot to be desired. Gary, you said it best. They should have won by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I thought they were 2-3 touchdowns better. Well, what happened last November was people figured out what Lance Guidry was doing, and Georgia Tech and Syracuse in particular really exploited it, and they got caught. Should have been a playoff team last year, no question about it. Going back to Oregon, I didn't realize Mario's record was that bad in the month of November.
His last 2 years were horrible.
I mean, he won a couple Pac titles. I don't know. I mean, are you sure about? I haven't researched that number you're throwing out, but are you sure he lost?
Well, I only included his last year at Oregon. 2020, he was a train wreck disaster. They started strong, and then he fell apart big time. They snuck into that Rose Bowl thing and beat up USC team. But 2020, yeah, he was 4-5, or he lost 4 of his last 5 games, or 3 of his last 4, something like that. And last year he fell apart. The year before they lost 4 out of 5. The first year is what it is, but he now has a very consistent track record of, they start guns blazing. They beat the crap out of Ohio State at the.
Well, they've mastered the summer and training camp for sure.
Yeah, he knows how to get his team ready.
He knows how to get his team ready for the beginning of the season.
But it seems like his teams then stay stagnant. Everyone else gets better, and then he falls apart at the end of the season. And I hope that, but the point is, he is going to need to turn a corner in order for this team to take the next step. If you look at the teams that played, there's a lot of football to be played left. Our team, like Ohio State, lights out, but that quarterback sucked. He was not good. He's got the best receivers in the country, and he sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know that they're a super dominant team. They're probably the closest, but I don't know that their defense looked pretty good to me too. But
I think this is a year where you've got 8 teams who have a lot of talent but have flaws. And so the question is late in the year, can Mario get this team better? We all know from what we saw on Sunday, there's meat left on this bone.
Oh my God, there's so much meat left on the bone. There's so much growth this team can have, so much talent that wasn't really doing anything the other night. I think that they're going to get enormously better. I really do. All right, Jake, I got to get Matt to bed, man. Thanos.
And by the way, Jake, look at 2018 and 2019 for Mario if you want to have some positivity. At Oregon.
But yeah, I mean,
I agree. The prior 2 years before he got here, yeah, they faded bad at Oregon for sure.
Yeah, but it's just, he's got to get over that hump and improve the team as the year goes on. I think we got the roster to do it, but he's got to put it on paper and make it happen. So we'll see.
All right,
big
Jake.
game against Bethune. Let's see what those third stringers do.
And give us a call next week with your take on this big tilt this weekend.
Oh boy! Well, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the depth, because this team, that's what made the difference in this game. We had the depth. Notre Dame's starting talent was there, but we were able to rotate some guys in, and that last series we finished it out because Lightfoot was nuts on that last series, and Blunt even made some play. That made a big difference, and that's going to be a big difference. The middle of this roster is so much better than in years past. And I think that depth is what hopefully will turn that corner. I'm going to wait and see. I've been a big Mario critic, but I think with the middle of this roster and the ability for improvement, let's see what happens. I'll be interested.
All right, Jake. Thanks for being on the show,
Good
man.
night as always.
Appreciate it.
More wine. Have one for us. You got it, my man. All right, Matt. Thanos is declaring you ready for bed, so I'm gonna get you out of here. Any parting thoughts?
This is almost as bad as waking up at 5 a.m. This is my relaxed time normally. Instead I get yelled at and berated by Greg, get berated and yelled at by you for nonsense, which isn't even true. You're not even understanding my points. All I want is a great roster to be built through recruiting. That's all I want. And you're like, no, we have to do it through the portal. So, whatever.
The portal's not going anywhere. But we're not.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But what? I'm not going to rehash everything. I mean,
don't rehash it all, please.
No.
It's not going anywhere.
No, but if you look at literally what the Ohio States do, what the top SEC programs do, what they do is what I'm saying. Okay, so you could look at the numbers yourself. I'm not making it up. Okay, they handpick just 5 or 6 every year portal guys they need, and they build it through their recruiting, the development, and their culture. And you can disagree all you want, but that's how they're doing it. Okay, and I've written stories about that also. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go watch Housewives of New York City and wind down. I'll talk to you later.
Wait, but 1 second before you leave. I'm asking. I'm trying to see if I can get this quick. I want to see how many players from the transfer portal that Ohio State took this year.
This year, look at the last 5 years. I'll tell you right now. I have it right here. Let me just grab it up on my screen real quick. Let's see, Ohio State. Just give me 1 sec here.
They added 8 players from the transfer portal.
Okay, but hold on. You can't just look at 1 year, right? Because it's not a 1 year deal. I'm getting it up on my screen right now. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Ohio State this year took. Actually, I have
10 players through the portal this offseason.
9, because one's a walk-on snapper, one's a walk-on kicker. So they took 9. Okay. In 2024, they took 7. Okay.
Okay.
In 2023, they took 8. Single digits.
Miami this year has a total of
2022, they took 3. Okay. Miami, okay, just compare it, right? Not a single year in the last 4 years have they taken more than 9. Okay, Ohio State. Miami has not taken less than 10, right? Miami in 2022 took 11. 2023, they took 17. 2024, they took 15. And this year, they took 19. So, that's just the other programs are just doing it differently, the top programs. And Mario's going to get there. He's going to get to that 5 to 8 range, right? Because he's not going to need to pay a fortune to those guys. He'll pay the money to keep the guys that he knows are going to be great, right? That are on his own team, that know how to play in the system, there's so many positives to having guys in your system multiple years, from knowing your schemes to knowing their teammates to helping with leadership, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can kick out the bad apples, kick out the guys who aren't working out, those 50%, and you can sign 105 guys in a single class if you wanted to. That's the new rule. So you can sign as many as you want, keep the top guys that are already in your program, add a few portal guys. That's what the Ohio States are doing, and I think it's the way to do it.
All right, go to bed, please.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for making me miserable. More miserable than normal, Greg.
He really does go to bed early. I mean, he's up at 5 o'clock working every day. The guy's insane. But anyway, Rodney Beard's asking, how did Abram Murray, one of the best kickers in the country coming out of high school, get beaten out by Davis? He was not one of the best kickers in the country. So I know he was supposed to be and was reputed to be, but wasn't close to that level. And Carter Davis smoked him in spring practice, just flat smoked him. But not to the point where the coaches didn't feel like they had to go out and get somebody else, which is why they brought in Bert Auburn from Texas. And Carter Davis beat him out this fall too. It's pretty damn good. And then he made 2 kicks on opening day. So, I think we could say Carter Davis hopefully is on the incline. Hopefully it stays that way throughout the season. All right, I see one of our old time favorites back in the queue here, so I'm gonna bring him on next. Jake the Italian Stallion. What is going on, my man? We have not seen you in a little while. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, good deal, Gary. Yeah, no, I'm healthy for a change, 50 pounds lighter, and glad to be back and got a new job and just enjoying life. And nothing was
Get
better
closer
than
to your mic
watching the
because your
Canes
voice
Sunday
just got
night.
bad. Move closer. Your voice.
Closer.
Yeah, much better. You got to get
Oh,
closer to your
okay.
mic. Yeah, that's
Good
good.
deal. Good deal.
Now we can
Yeah.
really see you.
Yeah. No, it was. I have to agree with you, Gary. I thought that we were at least 14 to 20 points better, and I hate to sound like a broken record and everything like that, but you were spot on. I mean, I was just not really impressed with them. I mean, they are talented. There's no doubt about it. But if you look at our team from top to bottom, we looked like an actual old Canes team. I felt like, and then going into the weekend, when you see most of like the offense other than Cam Ward and Arroyo get cut, they didn't make an NFL team, that we're just not quite there. But it looks like we've upgraded in certain positions. I mean, Malachi Tony, the fact that he was even looking at another school, I mean, he's worth whatever we paid for at this point. To be at that level, I mean, that's huge in my opinion. The other thing too is you look at a guy like what's his name, the Moore kid. He showed up. I'm going to say this real quick. To counter Matt's point, I'm sorry you let him go. The truth of the matter is that I'll take this Marty Brown kid any day, because as far as 5-star goes, I remember that we were really all in on Mark Young, and he didn't do anything against Florida State, and he has been a bust in my opinion for Alabama. And it was between like him and Fletcher, I felt, unless you know something different, back in that recruiting class a couple of years ago. I mean, so am I wrong by saying that, Kerry? That look at what Brown's done. I don't know if maybe Mark Young's in the wrong system, but that was a 5-star that can't miss prospect.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, your mic is coming in and out, but I think you're talking about Marty Brown. And yeah, I mean, that was a pickup that clearly is better than any of us really imagined. I mean, hey, you're picking up a running back from North Dakota State. He had great stats there, and obviously was clearly very good. But you had Fletcher, you had Jordan Law, you got Pringle coming in, you got Wheatley Humphrey, and this, to Matt's point, you're sitting there saying, why do we need a running back out of the transfer portal? Well, Sunday night we found out why we need a back out of the transfer portal. This kid's tough as hell. He was phenomenal, scrapping for extra yards on the inside. Wheeled his way into the end zone on a very critical touchdown in the game. Yeah. And he's improved as a pass catcher. I mean, this is a little bit more seasoned guy than a Wheatley Humphrey or a Pringle, who are both going to be very good players. I mean, Pringle's going to be spectacular. But you could see why they felt like they needed to bring him in. So, yeah, great pickup, great job by, Mario, Dennis Smith, and those guys. And, I think it's all good for Marty Brown at Miami the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I think I got the mic situation figured out now. Can you hear me better now?
Much better.
Much better. Okay, I got it figured out now with the StreamYard. A couple of things that I did that I don't want to be overly critical. I mean, like we agreed that there was some points that were left out by Miami. I just could not understand, Gary. You got the crowd into it. You did great getting points before halftime. That spectacular catch by Daniels, unbelievable. And it was number 1 on SportsCenter, by the way. I wanted to let you know that. I watched the coverage afterwards. I know you had your stuff at the media obligations, but then to get the points after halftime and to milk 7 minutes off the clock. I mean, it was fantastic. And what was a shame is the defense gets them 3 and out. Their defense is hogging air. And if it wasn't for Brown slipping on that 3rd and 1, I mean, I just wish that we had picked up that first down, because who knows, maybe we go down and score again and then it's over with. But I was just a little concerned with the conservative play calling. And it's like, you've got them down, just step on their throat. I mean, you don't leave that door even uniquely open. And here's the other thing too, Gary, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but those referees at times, I mean, you can't tell me You can't tell me that if a Miami player hits a guy late, we wouldn't have been flagged for that 15 yards. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. And
Yeah.
it's like, why are they're supposed to be ACC refs, but you're kissing Notre Dame's butt? And what, do you want them in our conference or something that bad? I mean, they have every opportunity to join our conference if they really want to be all in and not just the other sports. And yet I feel like every call that was bing, bang, boom, especially that critical holding call when it was a clear holding call on them. Those penalties should have been negated, and it's, replay the down pretty much, I mean, those were things that just stood out. But through all of that, for Mario to have the confidence in this kid for a 47-yard field goal with a wet field, you had a botch snap earlier in the game. I mean, onions, man, just onions, cojones, whatever you want to call it. But the truth of the matter is, I would have liked to have seen that kick from 27 yards as opposed to 47 yards. Am I wrong?
I mean, he's got a huge leg, man. That was putting a lot. That was a lot of pressure on that kid. And man, did he handled it. I mean, I give him a ton of credit, man. Like, his career has not gone the way he wanted it to, or you would draw it up. And somehow he's ended up at Miami, and he's got this opportunity. And you're playing Notre Dame opening night, and that kid stepped up and had the freaking, like you said, cojones to get it done. And man, we got a story on him on the website right now, and it's a good one. And I guess I urge everybody out there listening to go take a look at it. And mad respect for Carter Davis for being up to that moment. He's not going to make every kick this year, okay? It's not happening, but he was ready. He's worked hard, and he's improved his accuracy. And he's earned his way into this position. He beat out two guys, including one that had a couple years of experience in major college football and had made a lot of kicks on college football fields in big games. I mean, played at Texas, and Carter Davis beat him out, man. And that's this is an equal opportunity football program. They don't care what you've done, who you are. You're going to compete, and if you win the job, you're going to be treated fairly, and you're going to get to do it. And he's out there. I hope he keeps having success, because you root for a kid like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple more points, because I know you got to get some other people on. I wish.
Yeah, I'm getting emails from guys' wives now. Like, I just got an email from a wife. Would you please put my husband on?
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll get him on.
No, this is no joke. Like, would you please put him on now? Like, God knows, I'm not even going to try to speculate what she might want him to go do after he's on the show. Like, we are not going to go there. That would be way too much information. But I'm literally getting emails from wives. Get my husband on the air now.
Oh my gosh. Well, just real quick, I also want to touch on, was I wrong by saying that Lofton was only targeted 3 times that game? I mean, he's supposed to be your best player. You got to get him involved in the offense. Am I wrong by saying that, Gary? I mean, I
am president of the Elijah Lofton fan club. I think this kid could be a Heisman Trophy.
You could have tossed it to him in the backfield out of the H-back position. I don't know.
Anything, man. Like, this kid, you have no idea how good this kid is. We haven't really seen that much of him.
If he was 6'6", that would have been the number 1 player coming out of high school that year. If he was 6'6", honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 targets in the game. One catch for 15 yards and was targeted twice in the game.
Oh, so I'm actually giving one more credit. So it wasn't even maybe to him. Maybe he was in the vicinity. I thought it was targeted to him. But so 2 official targets. That's unacceptable for a position that you got to get a guy like that involved, and he's a matchup nightmare. I mean,
I'd be shocked if it continues this way. I'm telling you, the kid is too good.
He is. Beck, I thought, played great, considering, think about what he went through. I mean, the recovery, the lack of time of not being there, the mental that he's gone through. I think it was clearly unfair. I think it was sour grapes on Georgia's part too, because truth be told, if they had him, they probably maybe win the national title last year. If he's healthy, I don't know. That was a talented Georgia team that was kind of coming into their own at the end of the season before he got hurt. And realistically, Notre Dame didn't get to play the best Georgia, when that game happened. I mean, Gunner was not ready, and that's them and so forth. But I'm happy Beck is here, and I hope that he thrives. I love seeing that number 11 on him, the way he managed the game. It brought back memories of Dorsey, to be honest with you, going back that far. But I was very impressed, and I also want to give some credit. And if you, you've been around this program for so long, I feel that we've gotten such an upgrade at the defensive line position with Coach Lewis. working with the tackles. I just saw a night and day difference. No disrespect to Big Joe. I know Mario brought him on, but like you've mentioned, when you have the type of money you're working with, you can get better coaches, you can get better development, better recruiting. And I think we've checked all the boxes with Lewis. I don't know if you'll know more about that because you deal with recruiting, but I just saw a complete difference with the defensive line with him and Jason Taylor. I know there were like 100 plus recruits. Gary, what have you've already maybe covered it because I came in late, but like what was the reaction of those recruits, and are they planning to get 100 more for the Gator game in 3 weeks?
Oh, there's no doubt. The reaction was great. We actually have a really good roundup. I don't know if you got to see it on the website. Go back a couple days, and
Okay.
we talked to almost every one of them, and you can get a real good feel for what each individual was thinking after the game. So I urge you to go do that. I can't go through all 100 kids, but we did
Sure.
we talked to a lot of them, and it was all obviously positive. It was great experience for them.
Yeah. I hope that every kid, honestly, Gary, that wasn't even there, that's maybe committed to other schools like a Derek Cooper, I hope they know what they're kind of getting into and so forth, because they can win here and they will definitely be showcased. And I just think that there's a lot of meat on this bone. I'm excited about this team going forward. The one thing is this: we've never worried about the big games when it comes to Mario's teams. I just hope that the focus is there and that the guys are engaged with these lesser teams in the ACC. That has been my biggest qualp every year. I'm going to harp on it until I'm proven wrong. We should have been in Charlotte last year. It's a tougher road this year, those cold games in November, but realistically, we need to treat every opponent like we're playing them, that they were a top 10 team, and just kick their ass and be better than them. I mean,
Well,
that's
next couple of weeks, we got to develop some of these young guys like an Elijah Lofton. But Elijah, if you're watching, you got to block too, okay? Like,
that's right.
that was not good in the first quarter. And like I said, if I was your coach, I wouldn't have thrown you the ball the rest of the night either. I mean, it was that bad. But anyway, Jake,
Gary, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, man. Come back next week, okay?
Yes, sir. Take care.
We'll see you then. All right. I'm getting pounded here I'm just going to call her Mrs. G. Okay. She wants her guy on the show. So we're going to go there next. It's Jason G, but you got to put your mic on, Jason. You look like you're muted right now. There you go.
Hey, there we go.
Welcome to the show, man. Your wife's all over me.
I don't think I think you got the wrong guy. No wife, but I'm happy to go. So
I'll double check. Go ahead. Start talking. I thought it was your wife.
Maybe my mom is angry.
Do you know somebody named Nancy?
Oh, yeah, that's my mother.
I don't know who she is. Is she? Oh, it's your mom?
Yep, I'm in big trouble with my mom, I guess.
Oh,
my mom's
well, then your mom. I thought it was your wife, but it's your mom.
My mom can't fake. My mom's texting me throughout the game, asking what the DirecTV password is when the game is tied 24-24. But when it comes to getting me on CaneSport Live, I guess she's got no problem with technology.
She's like, get Jason on the show. So here you are, man. I hope you got something good for us.
I want to start off with just saying that it was such a fresh breath air being at that game and not feeling like, the world was going to crumble. Like in all these other big games that we've had, I've felt like just waiting for them to expose the weakness. Like last year at UF, are they going to test our secondary? This year, I mean, I felt so calm, in control. The guys, they look so promising. They're a deep group. It was just nice sitting there in those seats and just feeling like, wow, these guys have really got it under control. And I thought it wasn't a fake confidence either from these guys. It was real. You could tell that they were not panicked. They were calm. There was a real belief, no turnover chain garbage that we've seen in the past. None of that showy crap. I mean, they believed that they were going to take care of business. They went out there and they did. And that was something that was refreshing to see after all these years of up and down play and not knowing how good we really are. So that was the first thing. I think, I'm listening to all these shows and I'm listening to the criticisms of Mario Cristobal and the play calling. Mario this, Mario that. Let me tell you, this program has not been where it is in a very long time. And that's thanks to Mario Cristobal that we're sitting here today. There's no one else to thank besides him. and I'll criticize the play calling from, let's say, the end of the first drive in the second half, all the way up until the let's say the last drive of the game. But I did not mind those 3 runs in the last drive. You have a team, the strength is the defense. The strength is the pass rush. Are you really going to put it out there? I know Matt said on Good Morning CaneSport this morning, you got to trust your $4 million arm. Well, your $4 million arm was hurt during spring. He doesn't have chemistry with the guys. Probably your most talented wide receiver didn't really get a lot of playing time. He doesn't have any chemistry with Beck. I'm talking about JoJo Trader. Elijah Lofton was also banged up during camp. He was a little bit of a no-show last night. I don't have a problem with it. You know, you run the clock out. You call time, you make them call their timeouts, and you play to the strength of the team. And I don't have a problem with that. And I also don't have a problem with these guys having to go through some battles, as long as we win the game, right? Win the game. But if you have to go through some hard stuff throughout the season, great. Awesome, right? It's going to make us better when we're in this position again. But it's a top 6 team in the country, and you're criticizing Mario in a win. Come on. I mean, you haven't been here so long.
Listen, I mean, you know, they gotta be open-minded about some things too. I mean, it's not like, you know, everyone in the fan base is a moron and doesn't have, you know, some respectable opinions to offer. And the conservatism that everybody's on, I think, is very fair. Like, they did get too conservative in the second half. It almost cost them another game. It happened at Syracuse to a lesser degree. They just played bad.
Awful defense. I mean, it's a different team.
But I mean, I'm talking about the offense at Syracuse for a stretch there in the second half. They just played bad. Like, I don't know that they went in a total shell. But the other night they did get too conservative, and it's fair. And I don't see any problem if they're hearing it, because they got to look at that. You know, they almost cost themselves a game where I felt that they were the dominant football team. I mean, and Notre Dame is really, really good. But I love the game plan. I love the way they were mixing the run and the pass. I love the way the defense was playing. But it doesn't mean that the defense is never going to make a mistake or never have a coverage bust or not defend the quarterback draw well enough or whatever. These are kids playing against kids, okay? Stuff is going to happen. And you got to stay aggressive, you know, not reckless. I'm not talking about reckless. But you got to stay aggressive. You got to have plays that you can get into where you're not exposing the ball to turnovers the best that you can. I mean, like Shannon Dawson said Monday, no pass play is totally safe. That's true. A ball can get batted. You can get strip sacks. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen when you're throwing the ball. And I get it. Like, they didn't want to give up a turnover that was going to turn the momentum of the game. But what ended up happening was they turned the momentum of the game with their conservatism, and they ended up getting caught with 3 minutes left. And man, I'm watching that. I was never panicking that they weren't going to win. I really felt like Miami was a better football team than Notre Dame, and they were going to find a way to move it down the field, and they did. And they threw the ball a few times on that drive. And, you know, I was kind of surprised they were playing for the field goal. I understood the explanation that we heard about it on Monday and why Shannon Dawson said he was doing it. You know, I thought that was a little bit risky, but hey, you know, Carter Davis came through for them and nailed the kick, and everyone lives happily ever after. And a couple weeks from now, when they play South Florida in Florida, nobody's going to care less about how that game against Notre Dame played out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, you know, it's funny. I can't believe no one has mentioned special teams throughout this entire call. And, you know, quite frankly, Gary, I thought the special teams on Sunday night was a joke. And I'm not talking about just the muff snap or the hold that didn't go well. Even though when I saw that hold happen, you know, I got flashbacks to the Al Golden era when we tied FSU at home. And, you know, all we needed was the extra point to tie the game up. We thought we were going to tie the game up. And, you know, they don't block on the extra point. All of a sudden, FSU gets in, they block it. I was having flashbacks at Hard Rock to that moment. But I'm not even talking about that play specifically. I thought our punting, our punt return was beyond atrocious. We played this prevent defense. Could have been 4th and 8, and we're sitting there in a real defensive setup, so scared for a fake punt. And you put a true freshman out there, and I understand he's a baller. Malachi Toney balled out, whatever. I mean, he did his thing. But even you said last week, like, you know, it may take him a quarter. He may drop a pass. You put him back there returning punts with 8 Notre Dame players running at you, not one Miami player.
He caught one at the 5-yard line.
And that was the first one. That was the first one. But there's no Miami players back there. What if he muffs a punt, Gary? That's not just going to be a turnover. It's going to be a touchdown. You're literally 1 on 8. 1 on 8. I don't know what they were thinking. And, you know, the field position too, right? In a defensive struggle like that, you're going to give up 15 yards of field position by just not really rushing the punter. First off, he had all day to kick, which gives them time to get downfield, and then also not blocking on the return. I mean, it wasn't an execution issue. It was a coaching issue. I don't know what we were so afraid of with the fake punt that we were letting that happen. I mean, you don't see one team in the NFL doing that for a reason. It's because you watch out for the fake while you're, you know, in your correct punt coverage. It was just bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, he's that good though, man. They call him Baby Jesus for a reason, and they believe in him, so they had no problem putting him out there.
He's going to take on 11 guys if he doesn't have to fair catch it. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, he's probably fair catching it.
Hester.
Yeah, in that situation, he's probably fair catching, you know, by design. But you know, he made one mistake. He shouldn't have fielded that ball inside the 10. You know,
better than muffing it.
Yeah. All right, Jason, you got anything else?
Yeah, one last thing. You know,
I think you're making mom proud.
Yeah, mom's gonna get a yelling at after this, but it's okay.
Nah, she's totally good.
I know, I'm kidding.
Nancy, you can email me anytime you want.
Tell her to subscribe. I mean, she's probably
please subscribe. Please, CaneSport.com, CaneSport.com. We need you, Nancy. Join our site.
Exactly. Last thing I want to say, you know, obviously, the key players on this team, Carson Beck, Bain, Messidor, but I truly feel like this team is going as far as JoJo and Elijah Lofton can take them. Matt said the receivers were amazing. I did not feel like the receivers were amazing. They clearly had a game plan. They wanted to use their speedy, shifty, smaller receiver against Notre Dame's physical, bigger DBs. It was a great game plan. It worked. I don't see this team winning 11 games. You know, maybe they can go 10-2, but they have a tougher schedule than anyone anticipated ahead of them, with FSU being good. USF had a weird win. UF looks good. They need JoJo and Elijah Lofton to be as good as Malachi Toney was.
I totally agree with you.
Every big game. It is, or this offense will not be dynamic enough. And you're going to have everyone calling in on the show complaining about how Mario only runs it up the middle. But the problem is really going to be the outside guys aren't dynamic enough. And it's, you know, everyone's crowding the box because of it. You need those guys. And I hope that JoJo, you know, I'm hearing elsewhere that it's a pecking order thing and maybe it's chemistry with Beck. I really hope that JoJo gets his snaps by the time the UF.
He will. He will.
I mean, Gary, on his 2 go routes, he beat his defender. One of them, it was a harder throw. You had the safety over the top. Beck put it in a place where maybe only JoJo could make a play fine. But on the other one, Beck did not put enough velocity on that ball to give JoJo a chance, to give him space in the back of the end zone and, you know, lead him enough so that JoJo, he had a half step on the guy. Instead, he put a little too much air on it and, you know, the guy was able to make a play. But you need JoJo and Lofton or this team is going to seriously struggle on offense. Yep. Especially once you have film on Malachi Toney.
Good. They're going to have to do a lot of things. They've got to start throwing the ball to the backs. I mean, they were just scratching the surface the other night. I think they have so much growth offensively. It's not silly and even silly. And I think they will grow. And I think now they got 2 weeks here to start integrating more of these guys. That was a high pressure game on Sunday night. So let's, you know, I think you got to give them a little bit of a pass. You know, they tightened the rotations. They went with the guys they knew were ready for a game like that. You know, but they do in the next couple of weeks before they get to Florida need to get more guys integrated into the offense. Totally agree. All right, Jason. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Good job. You made mom proud. We'll see you. Come back next week.
Yep.
Let's go to Kmac. What you got, Kmac?
Hey, what's up, G-Man?
Doing good, doing good.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Yeah, hey, well, first off, I got to apologize, man. The gruff look. I just finished working 16 straight days at night.
Oh, man, that's nothing compared to what Adam hit us with early in the show.
Well, good for Adam.
With the wild head of hair.
Oh, yeah, facial and everything. I'll groom tomorrow. Today I was running errands.
You're good, man. This isn't a beauty contest. This is just a bunch of dudes talking football on Tuesday night.
That's true, but still.
We don't even get any female viewers, I don't think.
Well, we got Jason's mom. Jason's mom was watching.
That's a very good point. Sorry, Nancy. I didn't mean to leave you out.
Well, anyways, man, just wanted to touch base on watching. Saw you and Matt this morning. First off, great points, both of you guys, all day, all night. Miami was the better team. I think that's what I took the most out of that game was just how confident, how in control they looked. Man, was really, really impressive. I did not expect that. I was pleasantly surprised to see them in full control. They never looked like there was a moment they were going to actually lose the game. I feel like
even when they tied it, right?
Yeah, you still felt like we were going to win, right?
It never felt like they were going to lose it. Yeah,
exactly. You hated to be in that position. Your pants tightened up a little bit, but you did feel good. I think it's easy for Dawson to say that was the plan to get Davis that kick 47-yard because it worked out. I think it's an easy bailout now since he did make it. Everything sounds good, looks good. I don't think we want to make that a plan going forward the rest of the year to depend on 50, 55, 45-yard kicks at the end of the game to either win one or tie one. I don't think we need to be in that position. The defense, I'm trying. The only reason why I'm holding back on calling the league or championship level right now is because one, it's the first game. I mean, we got a long season to go. You're going to have some teams that have dynamic quarterbacks that are going to expose some things. The show of a championship caliber and elite defense is how you adjust. Let's wait till we get some better quarterback play to see how we adjust to those things before we start calling defense elite. I think I agree with everyone. I love what we saw, but we were playing a quarterback that was, not the most confident. They did not use the best running back in the country the way that they should have. They did us a favor. I will say that they did us a huge favor, not making him a focal point and not having him someone that we had to worry about that whole game. But I still do love what Miami did defensively. I think what we saw Sunday was the Cam Ward not being here effect. And I said this last year, Gary, towards the end of the year. Cam Ward was so good at what he did in terms of that arm, was so talented. He put us in bad positions in terms of scoring quickly a lot of the times that we did. Best scoring offense in the league last year. No one will question the arm talent that he had, the things he was able to do. But the balance I think we'll have this year is what's going to make Miami better this year, is the fact that you can keen in on the run game if you want to, but Beck is good enough to win with his arm when necessary. Whereas I think last year you felt like if you shut Ward down, you had Miami pretty much at your mercy. And I think by him not being, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't miss Ward. I love what Ward brought to the table. I love what Ward did for Miami. But a balanced attack, if we had this off last year, we win that Syracuse game because we didn't have to score 42 points. We would have been able to run clock down. We had a lot of 3-and-outs again, last year in Syracuse that we had there. To me, that's the key, man. We got to sustain drives. You don't have to score every damn drive, but you got to hold the ball for 5 to 7 minutes, man, and let your defense get its proper rest. So when it goes out there, they're at their best. They're at, they've rested well. They can give you the best effort that they can give you. But when you have 4 straight 3-and-outs, to me, that's why we saw some of the kink in the armor. That's why you saw maybe the breakdown. That's why Notre Dame was in. You get tired, man. You're asking these guys to go out there and push up against 300-pound offensive linemen down after down, minute after minute for, 6, 7, 8 plays on the defensive side, and then our offense is going out stinking it up for a minute and a half. You got to give them rest. And for me, that's what Dawson needs to understand. We don't need you to score every damn drive. But sure enough, you got to sustain. You got to get a couple first downs. Change the field position.
Stay aggressive.
Absolutely. And that too. I mean, within the aggressiveness, you can find those first downs and we can score great. But at least give the defense some time to rest. don't go out there stinking it up. I don't have a problem with the 3 runs in a row either. I agree with Jason what he said. My only issue is it's coming off of when you had, a couple back-to-back 3 and outs. You might want to change it up a little bit and catch him off guard. You see there a crowd in the box. Come on, this play action fake. We're talking about Lofton now. He's the perfect guy. What linebacker can stick him one-on-one? You play action fake, you get Lofton the ball. I think it works to perfection. I don't want to see the guys not play Bethune-Cookman. I know you and Matt have a different opinion. I think playing the starters of first quarter, at least giving them some rhythm, let them guys get a little more acclimated. I say take them out.
Well, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do. I don't think sitting them out of the game is going to benefit, those guys. You got to get your timing down. Get those second and third teamers guys in there immediately because you don't know you're going to need them. Hopefully USF doesn't give us as big a fight as, I think you want them to give us a little bit of challenge. I'm not sure if I do. I would love back-to-back games where you can get some of the second and third stringers in there. And Mario, the last part I'm bring up is about Mario. I think I'm on board with Jason. I just think we need to stop. Outside of Nick Saban is the only other coach that could have came in and demanded what they asked for and got it other than Mario. Mario has Miami relevant, okay? Yes, we don't have the championship. Yes, we haven't seen, we haven't won the ACC championship. But back-to-back years, we opened up the season top 10. We opened up the season with big games with Notre Dame and Florida. We got Florida again coming up. We win those games. He has people talking about Miami. He has recruits talking about Miami. He has reporters and TV stations talking about. If he phases out, we get it. The hope is one day he figures it out and says, I have to do something different. Whatever we're doing in the beginning and middle of the year does not work at the end. We got to find something. But damn it, I will take his Septembers, his Octobers, in every year, and hopefully one day we get over the hump in that December and we move on. This year's got to be. I hope this is a year, but damn it, Mario is the man. There is not a better prepared coach. There is not a more hardworking coach in the planet than Mario Cristobal is at Miami. And for people to complain, I always say be careful what you ask for. Because you may just get it.
You don't want Mario to fail at this job.
Exactly.
I get it. Like, I know there's things that happen that are frustrating, but you don't want Miami to have to start over again. Trust me. Trust me on that. This job is too big of a beast. It's just it's crazy.
And he has control of it. He performs. He has
all under control. Yes. You don't want to start over.
Absolutely. He has this place rocking and rolling. He has everybody firing all cylinders and as one cohesive team.
From the administration on down,
all the way down.
100%.
So people can complain all they want, but there is not another coach on the planet other than Saban that I would say could replace Mario in the job that he has done. You cannot get anyone else that can do the things Mario does from the administration down to.
I agree, man. Look at Alabama after Saban left. They're not the same.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Guys can complain all they want. Stop. Mario's a great coach. I hope he's here until he leaves. As long as he can maintain what he's doing, we're not going to get better, especially the budget that we had that he's incorporated. Who's to say what the next guy's going to be able to do? We don't know. And I just say he bleeds Miami through and through. He wanted to be here. He asked for their commitment. They're giving it to him, and I'll be damned if he's not giving them the same commitment. It's not. He hasn't gotten it and just sat on his ass with it. He's out there and he's doing it. So complain all you want. I'll keep Mario all day. One of these days he will get it figured out. Like Gary said, hopefully it's this year. How to fix things and get things done in the latter stages of the season. Whatever he's doing in the beginning, we got to find a way to sustain that and get it to the end. But at the end of the day, I think we have the best coach that we could possibly ask for our situation. The Canes are rocking and rolling. I think they look great. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks, but definitely want to see that Florida game. I'll have a little more next week. I know there's some other things I want to get into. I don't want to spit too much into it, but I was very impressed, very happy. I feel like we actually truly do have one of the teams in the country that can actually vie for a championship this year, and I hope we can get it.
All right, Kmac, part 2 next week, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Thanks for coming on, man. We'll see you next week. Yeah. Bye-bye. So we got a note here from XOXO 2000. We do have female viewers. We love female viewers. XOXO, please come on the show next week, please. Okay. All you got to do, email us, CaneSport@yahoo.com. It's at the bottom of your screen. We will get you the link to the studio. I want to see you on this show next week, XOXO. Thank you. And Charlie Bricker, a blast from the past. Thank you for the shout out. It has been a while. We'd love to have you on too sometime. So you feel free to come on the show as well. But now we're going to go to my man Sebastian, because he's been waiting patient for sure, and we got to get him in here. So what's going on this week, Sebastian? How are you?
Well, Gary, remember
center your camera. Yeah, you're a little off center.
Last week I was out in Colorado, Gary. I don't know if you remember. I was skipping.
I remember
trying to take care of some stuff.
You were in the mall. Yep.
I just want to say, man, I was really impressed with the game. There's not a lot I can complain about. Whether we won by 50 points or we won by 1 point, we're 1-0, and that's what we needed coming out of this particular game. I was encouraged by the defense, especially the defensive line play. But for them to be able to sustain that throughout the year, I think we need to get a little bit more depth on that side, especially if it's going to be a long season, because we're kind of thin in that area. And I think that's what separates us from some of the other big boy teams is they're right there in the trenches. How encouraging it was to be able to know we have a field goal kicker that can kick it about 50 yards.
Oh, and he can go 60.
He can go 60, but it changes the calculus in regards of, not having to go for it so much on fourth down, taking the field goals that you need. I think we kind of threw the Georgia Tech game away because we just didn't kick field goals. If we'd have kicked field goals, we would have been there.
They'll still go for it on fourth down. I wrote a column about this before the season. I think they'll go for it on fourth down a lot. I think last night, I'm trying to look at the stats, I think they just did it once. But we'll see Mario go for it plenty on fourth down, I think.
I'll tell you, the character of the team is when I saw JoJo Trader come in there and made some crazy blocks, even though he wasn't, a threat catching the ball, he still was able to impact the game. And I know Shannon Dawson talked about that. And when you start seeing things like that, that's the game within a game, where you start seeing the team that really becomes successful. It's the game within a game while they're doing the little things right, because all those little things kind of add up to go from there. Can you talk to me about Jordan Lau, and do we expect to see him against Bethune-Cookman?
He's going to be fine. I think he practiced today. Okay. He's fine. He wasn't hurt bad. They just, he got a little nicked up, I think, his ankle, and they put Marty Brown in, and he was playing so well. So why push it with Jordan? Let his ankle had better. Yeah. And they just rode with Marty. I thought it was a great decision. Marty really was ready to go and stepped in there and did great.
Yeah. How are we looking at the backup quarterback position? Because I don't think Carson Beck really needs to play more than maybe a
quarter, hopefully.
Quarter or 2 quarters. Yeah. And then how does that
listen?
look?
Emory went, I think, 11 for 12 in this game last year. Emory is much better. I'll be honest, he's still not as consistent as I would like to see him be. There's not a throw that Carson Beck makes that Emory Williams can't make. I mean, Emory Williams is right there physically, and he's improved his athleticism, and he runs much better than he ever has. And he will be a force in the competition next spring, regardless of who they bring in the portal to compete against them, because I do think they will get the best player they can get in the portal to come in and compete. But I hope he gets out there this week and starts to show it. I really do. I mean, the big thing with Emory is consistency to me. He still has bad plays, which, he shouldn't have as many probably as he has. He just needs to get more consistent.
Okay. On the recruiting front, if you had to tell me right now, give me 3 players that are just must-gets. I'll tell you my 3, which I think is Cooper, Johnson, and probably maybe that Noah Wilson. Those are probably my 3. Or even the safety that's committed to Oregon right now that's from Florida. Those are my 3 players I think that are must-get. But if you had 3, what would be your 3, Gary?
Well, Cooper for sure would be one of them. I haven't really honed in on who I would say the other 2 must-gets are. They're still recruiting a lot of really good players. I don't really have one or two that I would pick out. I think they're close to getting a commitment from that 2027 receiver at Northwestern, who's going to be a huge pickup. I think that one's should be coming soon. I think they're close to getting a 28 commit too here in the near future. But they're just kind of sitting back right now with 26 kids. I think they want to let it get to December. And then some of these kids that might be committed elsewhere, I think they'll shoot their best shot in early December and see what they can do. And then from there, they'll branch out. And of course, they'll have the portal as well. So, I mean, they have a lot of commitments right now. So there's no like insane sense of urgency to just start, grabbing guys. I mean, I don't know that we'll see a lot of movement in the 26 class until after the season. I mean, they have 22 commitments right now in 2026. So there's just not that many guys that you would say are must-gets. I mean, remember, they're going to go to the portal too. So, but Derek Cooper would be my guy that I would say, you want to get that kid.
I really want that Johnson kid. I just hate seeing we don't have enough D tackles in the state of Florida, and I just hate when they leave. I really can't hate when they leave. I saw Bryce Fitzgerald play in the game.
He's doing great, man. He's probably been my biggest surprise in the freshman class. He's really doing well. He earned his way out there the other night.
Okay, it's something when you start putting a true freshman out there, because it's like OJ
That's a big
Frederick.
deal. Yeah.
When you start putting those guys out there, they must be super talented, right? Because they got the learning curve, but they're extremely talented. They
found a role. He's got a role in the nickel package, and he's not ready to go out there and be a starter yet, but they found a role from the nickel package. I mean, he was making plays the entire training camp.
Wow,
he's good. Fitzgerald's good. He's going to be a good player.
He's going to be a good player. If you told me what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks, we got Bethune, we got South Florida, we got Florida, and then we have a week off, and then we have Florida State. What does that look like over the next 4 weeks? Barring that we don't have any injuries, what do you see on the horizon for us?
Well, obviously they're going to handle Bethune. I think that they'll be ready for South Florida, and I think they'll have a great game plan for Florida. I think it's going to be a tough game, very much along the lines of Notre Dame. I think they'll be ready for it. The one of that stretch that you're talking about, the one I think I'm most concerned about would be if it's a night game at Florida State. That could be something else. But I think Florida's much better than a year ago. But I think Miami will be ready for them.
You think it's going to be a night game, that Florida State game?
I'd be shocked if it's not. I mean, I think Florida still has to play I think Texas A&M here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I believe that's who it is. So I don't know how TV would feel about it if they take a loss. But I mean, I'm thinking there's a great chance that game's a night game.
Okay. And Garrett, I'll just say this for all the fans that's out there. Mario's in year 4. There's a lot of coaches that have not done that's gone beyond year 4 and has been very, very successful. I mean, he's still building his program. I mean, I think the majority of the kids that's on the roster are his kids or through the transfer portal. I would love to see us get to the college football playoffs. I'd love to see us win the ACC championship game. And if we're able to do that in year 4 or year 5, I just say look out, because I think a lot of recruits will have a different perception of Miami, and then we'll be able to compete for them. So we'll see.
It looks like Florida. It's not Texas A&M. It's LSU. They play LSU the week before Miami. It's at LSU. I don't see them winning that game. It's going to be what'll be interesting is they'll have a loss, and whether TV will still take a night game of Miami and Florida.
Well, what I don't want us to see is, regardless of how that game turned out, I don't want us to underestimate Florida, because a win against Miami in Miami can kind of turn their season around, because they have a tough SEC slate.
Yep.
So we'll see. All right, Gary, appreciate it, man. I'll talk.
All right, Sebastian. Always great chatting with you, man. Thanks for being
Take care.
patient, and thanks for coming on the show. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight for CaneSport Live. I hope you enjoyed the show. A lot of good contributors this week, as always. Canes play Bethune-Cookman 6:30 on Saturday, and then we'll be back here next Tuesday night for another CaneSport Live. And tomorrow night, before I lose everybody, tomorrow night we will have the season debut of the Lamar Thomas Show. So same time, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Lamar will be here, and we'll chop it up with him and see what his thoughts were of the Canes on opening night. And I believe we're going to have former Cane Maurice Crum joining us tomorrow night on the Lamar Thomas Show. So hopefully we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Thank you for listening tonight. We'll see you next time, everybody.